Welcome to the Lila Life Show. I'm your host, Linda Andrews, and you've tuned in to the right place to uplevel in your life and business. Enjoy the show. Welcome to the Lila Life Show. I am your host, Linda Andrews. We have a beautiful episode today. This is falling into our Create category here with the Heal, Be, and Create. And I have Barbara Alfonzo and Megan Newmans on the show today. These women, first of all, welcome, and then I'll do a little introduction. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
These ladies are both integrative health coaches. They have a beautiful background in yoga. They use plant medicine through the doTERRA essential oils, and they are big toxin-free sustainability advocates. There's just so much here to talk about. So we'll dive in, and I have a real heart for today's show around deconstructing self-discovery. And I want to tell you why. I see this so often where it's like, can't go any deeper. You've done some work, but you don't want to do any more. And so if we could start today, I would love to hear some of your own roadblocks in self-discovery. And if you feel like you have none, like how you got yourself to that point.
Oh my God, this is such a great question. And I think it's like a never-ending thing. I think it's part of being human, of deconstructing. And every time you get to, a different stage in your life, you kind of reinvent yourself. I feel like I'm there right now and I'm hitting 40, and to me, it's really exciting, like if I just kind of take it back to my early 20s, I was in fashion, and I went for like the sustainable fashion route. And I love that. And I learned everything about sustainability and being green. And then in my late 20s, I was like a go-go dancer, and I learned about entertainment and self-confidence and putting myself out there and not being afraid of doing something I have no idea, what I'm doing. And that took me into health and wellness, because go-go dancing, nightlife, it's not the healthiest career. And then I got into health coaching, and then I learned about toxicity, and then I got into doTERRA and learning about the oils. And so I feel like this deconstructing and getting to know yourself and changing, and it's a part of being human. And when we get to accept that and just take it in as like, oh, great, I get to deconstruct myself again and learn about myself, it's just an opportunity for growth, and and then this year now, like I said, getting into my 40s, I'm like learning how to DJ and how to lead ecstatic dance experiences. And so it's just been really, really amazing. And I know Megan has a really wonderful story too. So I'll let her speak now.
So beautifully said, Barbara. And this just brings me to my journey. And I think everything has become a ripple effect for the next. So it's like one interest that I start with or get into, through that journey in that space, I'm introduced to something else or someone else who opens me up to a new opportunity or a new perspective or a new way of life, of shifting those things. And I think we're all students of life, and we learn most by our own experiences, and then also connecting with others and hearing other people's experiences and how we can relate or not relate, or think of something new that, hasn't been in our upbringing or our life experience. And so I've been very much in the health and wellness world as well. Barbara and I have a lot of similar backgrounds, but definitely different journeys. And for me, it was all about the physical in the beginning. I grew up playing sports and was a cheerleader and, on the dance team, and I loved performing in that type of aspect and that lifestyle. After I graduated, I got out of college, I needed something, I started working out in college, and then I was exposed to like the fitness competitions. So I got into fitness training, and that's all about like dedication and sacrifice and setting a goal and putting work in to get to that goal. So I think early on, I think I was doing this in my very early 20s, 21, 22, 23 maybe. So I knew what it was like to set a big goal and then work day in and day out to reach that goal. And that brought me a lot of discipline, until that kind of like backfired. It was like too much, it's too extreme. And like people look at these fitness competitors and see the epitome of health, but a lot of the, methodologies and the training styles to get there were not, it's more extreme. So it's like, okay, where can we find balance? And through that, I got introduced, that's where the yoga started to come in. I started to go to yoga classes, be interested in becoming a yoga teacher. And after I did my yoga teacher training, I came back to those fitness competitions, I had to do these very demanding routines. And I saw that, oh my gosh, I haven't even done any of this fitness stuff for a while, but I've been doing yoga, and I did a month immersion, and you can see how well yoga improved my physical fitness game, not even being on it. So it's like, wow, something's here. So starting to get into the asana and the spirituality practice. And through that, I put fitness competitions down because I found acro yoga and the acrobatics. So it's kind of this life of passing on the next extreme fun kind of sport that I can become. And so through that, getting into yoga and acro yoga started a whole new life for me, where I gained a lot of community around the world, similar interests. And from there, it was I had done 12 years of personal training, teaching group fitness, teaching yoga, teaching acrobatics. And I'm a manifesting generator, just like Barbara, and I'm sure we'll touch on that more because we're really getting into knowing ourselves in this way. So we have a lot of endless energy. And I had was training nonstop until I was injured, and overuse in the shoulder injuries, neck injury, vocal cord damage. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling it now. It's okay, this is not super sustainable for my body. Yes, I'm bringing people up in their fitness game, but at what cost to myself? And that's when I got introduced to IIN, the Institute of Integrative Nutrition, where we all train to be health coaches. And that journey evolved into learning about all aspects of health, not just the physical side. I had gotten into the spirituality side with yoga, but it brought in the idea of toxicity in the home, which my eyes were blind to prior to that, because I had no major health issues looking at me in the face saying you have to make a change for everything. So I basically got introduced to doTERRA essential oils from Barbara, from my friend Jennifer, and they taught me how you can use this as a total lifestyle. So I grew up with all the CBS items and all that kind of toxic everything. And I did a clean sweep. I threw everything away. I brought in doTERRA, the DIYs, the other products that they use, the shampoo, conditioner, the toothpaste. It became my new lifestyle. And I knew these were the tools I was going to use to help my health coaching clients. So from there, it's just I jumped in right away, and I said, I need to make this change for myself. And then I'm able to, from that path, learn about so many different methodologies of holistic health. And that's been past 5 years. And it's just been really beautiful being able to take that on within our learning within, myself, and then being able to partner with Barbara and bring all of this education and life experiences that the both of us went through, similar journeys, and bring it on a silver platter for other women to learn how to make these changes in their life too. So it's all about going through it, feeling it, transmuting it, and then being able to share that with everyone else.
I love that. Thank you both so much for sharing. And for me, that's this is deconstructing self-discovery. It's it's the journey. You do it while you're on it, And so it's being on it is how you're going to deconstruct self-discovery. And I think you two as fearless warrior ladies, hey, we've done it and we continue to do it. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but I just went through this where I'm knowing I'm getting sort of lazy in different areas of my life and not doing the work. And it's glaring. It's just so glaring, and everything feels just a little stale. And I'm shit, it's on me again. I got to do this. And then it's just you take even a half-inch step, and then everything starts to shift. And, it can be destabilizing, but I think this to me speaks to the name of your program, Integrate to Upgrade. It's you're taking that step up and feeling integrated in your life, and you're going to be able to be okay in that next level. And so both of you embody that.
Thank you. And that's exactly when we were 2 years ago, when we were thinking about this, Megan came to me, hey, would you like to do a health coaching program together? Let's get all these tools that we have. And I was like, yes, let's do it. And we're coming up, okay, so what do we call it? Right? And then we just about integrate? They're going to be integrating these concepts, right? It's all these different things about, mindset and nutrition and relationships, spirituality. So these are all different concepts, different things that have worked for us, and they need to integrate. And when you integrate this into your life, you upgrade. That's what we did. We learned from our schools. We learned from all these different things, right? That we're kind of like learning about. We integrate them into our life. We start using the products. We start using the different concepts that we're learning, and our life begins to upgrade. Okay. We're no longer, like Megan's no longer teaching 20 fitness classes a week and like having all these injuries, trading time for money. And, I'm no longer go dancing awake at night like a freaking bat and sleeping during the day and having huge hormonal issues, So I've integrated all these different things. We've integrated and we've upgraded. So we're like, okay, then let's create a program. Like she said, it's in a silver platter. Here's what has worked for us. Start integrating this into your life. Here's how you do it. Okay. And we've had women who have, not to say that if you join our program, this is going to happen to you. Obviously, every upgrade is different for everyone. Exactly. But as you are in the process of getting to know yourself, of deconstructing, all right, here's like we start with mindset, because that's just the foundation to everything. You want to change the way you eat, something with a relationship, you want to get into your fitness programs, whatever it is, you got to start with the mindset. So that's the foundation for everything. So as you're working on your mindset, as you start to learn, hey, when it comes to relationships, you start to learn if you are you the lion or the unicorn? It's a concept that we teach in the program, in the relationships pillar. You're like, okay, I know that I'm a lion. My partner is a unicorn. What's the best way to communicate with them? When they start to integrate these concepts, their lives begin to upgrade. They start to shift, And so some women have left marriages that we're no longer serving them. We're not making them happy. Others left their jobs that they hated and are paving their own way. Others are looking into talking and loving themselves better so that they can be, they want to get pregnant. They haven't been able to, so they start to like, have I been talking to myself? Can that be a reason why? Others, learning about their hormones. Like, it's so vast, our program, that everybody has different upgrades, depending on what, they came to our program for. But it really comes back to that mindset. They all had a shift in perception in the way that they see themselves and that they see the world and their lives. And so, yeah, it's the integration needs to happen for that upgrade to happen.
That's what was coming up to me is mindset bypassing, where it's like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to change my diet. I'm going to start doing the exercise, but like the mindset piece is never there. And so you maybe still have success, you achieve the goal, but you haven't still worked on the mindset piece. And, I like that there's a broadness to the program that you're sharing, because you have everything being so connected. Once you do shift that mindset, they might see 5 upgrades or maybe even more.
Exactly. Or maybe it's just one that they needed,
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's whether it's the relationship or the job or whatever it is that needed to upgrade, and then everything else starts to, like, yeah, it's different for everyone.
The
interconnectedness of the one shift to then all the other shifts.
Exactly.
Yes, that ripple effect. And when you mentioned, I realized about myself, I've let some things go and I need to reel it back in and bring that back to focus. That's that self-awareness piece that you have, and you realize, okay, maybe something isn't off. I'm not at my optimum. I'm not thriving the way I had in the past. What's different? What's changed? What have I let go of? And this is what, we bring to light. We have all these different areas of life that we love to teach on and educate on how to do the work in these areas to look for that ideal life that you desire. And it is very hard, everyone, to live a balanced life. It really is. This whole idea of balance, I kind of think it doesn't exist, right? It's like you're focusing on one thing, you're zeroing in on something specific. Something's got to give, but there's always this coming back to yourself in different seasons that we go through. And if you're focusing on one thing and you notice something else is slacking, that self-awareness that something's off and coming back to the basics, coming back to your foundations and seeing, okay, where in my life do I need to zero in on because I'm not feeling
satisfied with this and I need to make the change because it's up to me and I'm here trying to live my best life.
You're reminding me, this is like a sort of silly realization I had recently, but have either of you ridden a scooter before?
Oh, I ride a scooter all the time.
Okay. She owns one.
Cool.
Just
we
today,
both own
right
one
before this call.
Really cool. How
Yeah.
funny. Well, so we have a scooter. I don't ride it a ton, and I'm a little nervous on it. And it's like a bigger scooter, so it's not the 50cc. I think it's like 125, and I'm getting my confidence up. But when I ride it, I'm like, oh, there's a lot of signals before somebody's crashing into me on a scooter, right? That's the fear, is the accident. And so I'm like, there's the car like coming, I can turn, all these different things. Usually people are more aware of scooters in general because they might be going slower. They're annoyed by them. The point is there's all these signals, and like there is safety, and then there's maybe the diversion or off the path, and then you can make the change. And so for whatever reason, this scooter riding really hit me, because I'm like, you're not going to go from 0 to 60 off the path. You're going to go from like 0 to 2 to 5 to 10. And you might get to 60, or you might make an intervention in your life and shift it. And, some people may be working at 60 in a different life area and really have to make some course corrections, right? Like leaving the job, leaving the marriage. But there's like all these moments before that happens. But this comes back to that self-awareness piece, or like, are you noticing the signals? And I think that maybe it's like when enough of this stuff shakes you, you start to notice the signals a bit earlier. But I would love to hear if you like my scooter story and how you see that with some of the women that are in your program.
Megan, you want to answer?
Well, I can relate to the opposite end of the scootering, and like the confidence that I feel in my scooter, and I zip around and I weave between in and out of cars, and like, I know people look down on that, but there's this thing that we practice in acro yoga, which is called accurate self-assessment. And like, if you're going to do an acrobatics trick, you're doing it because you feel confident that you can do it. Or if you're not there yet, you feel confident in your spotters who are going to catch you if you're not sticking it right away. So for me, I am zipping in and out on my scooter because I've been riding a scooter for 10 plus years. We go around yelling this thing, scooter life, like whenever like make a bold move, and it's like, you're passing all these cars. And so I guess I am riding that way because I've had all the years of experience of riding on the scooter and feeling really good and like being a daredevil at heart and just like going for it. So with the women that have come into our program, because we bring a lot of thought to like all these things that we can focus on to improve on. It's like, if you're looking at the whole all at once and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to improve on everything, like this is really overwhelming. No, like, let's take baby steps out of these areas that we present. It's like, what are the top 3 that you want to shift right now? And let's focus on just those 3, because if it's too much on the plate, it's too much to handle, then it's overwhelmed and it just doesn't get done. So when we can like break that down into little pieces and really find out like what is the top priority for each individual person and how can we tailor that, within our teachings and our methodology, they will touch on those subjects. And whether it's like they choose to do it now or take their time with it. But we've seen incredible changes, from women, like you already mentioned, like one woman got the courage to leave her partner that she knew deep down inside was not for her, but working on herself and getting that confidence and like being able to look at herself as her own person and what does she want? And like, this is my life. It's time to create what I want because I'm a mom and I'm a partner. And it's just like, everything is just for everyone else, but no, it's my time, because the more we give to ourselves, the more we have to give to others. And seeing one of our girls like completely unhappy in her job, coming into our program and like knowing that there's another way and like getting exposed to these other options, like working for yourself, becoming your own business. And she has the skills on her own, but she was just working under another entity, and like having that courage to like, okay, I'm going to jump and I'm going to do it. And I feel supported with, what's being shared on this platform, that I don't have to have it all figured out right now, but I can just jump and build my wings on the way. And she has, and she's been doing amazing. And so it's just, those little baby steps and little changes add up to a lot. But putting in the work each day and doing a little and little and just improving small pieces at the end, however, 90-day run you do, or a year or 6 months, like you'll be a completely different person if you're open to it.
Consistency. Baby steps, like you say.
I have a question about the toxicity, because I feel like this is the one that's sort of like can get away, or you may not even look at because you don't know. It's like you don't know what you don't know. And certainly IIN was eye-opening in this regard. But what are you seeing right now as the biggest, sneakiest toxic load that people could perhaps have some awareness around if they choose to?
Skincare. For me, it really is skincare, makeup. And for me, being a go-go dancer, I was wearing makeup, like a lot of makeup and eyelashes, wigs, lots of hairspray, almost every night. There was a time where I was working 7 nights a week. And so it's like heavy makeup, lots of body sprays. Like I loved the Bath and Body Works. Yeah, that.
Like
and
the
then
glitter one.
Yes. And all this, I had them because, you go and dance, you sweat, you smell, you got to quickly, right? So I would bathe myself in those things. I was also a body paint model. And so once a week I would get body painted. And so the amount of just chemicals in my skin, I had no idea. But 3 years into being a go-go dancer, I started developing hormonal issues, horrible PMS. My hair was falling. My nails were not growing. I would just fall asleep everywhere. I was the moodiest, bitchiest right before the period. And the periods were so painful that if I was booked, I couldn't go dance. So I would lose two days of work because of my period. And so when I learned, again, I was an IIN and learning while I was still dancing a little bit, and started learning what the toxicity in skincare products have an effect in your hormones and xenoestrogens and all that. And then also, of course, the food was another aspect. And then when I started slowly changing that, it started with changing the food really. And that helped me a little bit, but it wasn't until really completely like Megan did. I just decided to change everything completely. At that time, I didn't know about doTERRA yet, but I knew about other companies. And I started changing that. And that's when I really started seeing a change in my energy, my hair, my nails started coming back, my skin. And I, one day to the next, I said, no more go-go dancing. This is it. And by that time I had already graduated, and I said, I'm going 100% health coaching and yoga. And that's what I've been doing the last 8 years. And so that's why this is what I teach women now.
I love that. And it says that whole thing of your mess is your message, like your whole story, that people can relate to that. Like beauty is a huge thing. We're all looking for that cream to like lighten the wrinkles and, extend this, what do they call, the fountain of youth. But yeah, and learning through IIN and diving deeper into the non-toxic lifestyle, just having the awareness of the 3 ways that we take in toxins from our environment, what we put on our skin, the air that we breathe in, and what we eat and drink and what we consume. So having this awareness that toxicity is everywhere, we're exposed to it left and right as we walk out our doors, car exhaust, secondhand smoke, chemtrails, whatever it may be, that is out of our control. So when we can control the things that we use in our home, in and around our bodies, we're already, winning half that battle. So as you look into your skincare and your makeup, let this give you that ripple effect of what am I cleaning with in my home? And we share a lot of easy swaps. So if you have those Glade plugins, switch it out, use a diffuser, put some essential oils in there. Any of these chemical cleaners, you can make your own with essential oils. doTERRA has become such a household name that they provide everything. There's dishwasher and laundry detergent and toothpaste and supplements and mouthwash, and essential oils as medicine. It's like you don't have to do the over-the-counter Advil or NyQuil or Dayquil. There's actually natural alternatives that, for me, when I cleaned out my home, it was a lot of everything. A lot of women, we get gifts, we get free trials, we get these things accumulated. I had like all of these things under the sink to clean with. I had all of these things in my bathroom drawers. I got to toss that out. I had to do that. I got to do a spring cleaning, and I got to bring in the oils and the products that I needed. And that just like, as it was an energetic shift as well. You know how good you feel when you clean out your closet, and let alone if you color coordinate it, how I alphabetically organize my oils in my case. And it's just like, you have every little thing you need. And because we have the new cleaning products, they were like beautifully displayed. And I had a friend come over recently, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is like a doTERRA showroom. And so I'm like, yeah, it really is. And it's so easy because you can know it's a name you can trust. And I feel like a lot of people don't know where to start. And this is an easy way to be like, you don't have to really think about it that much. It's just like replace the things in your home. We call them like ditch and switch.
Awesome. It's I've been ditching and switching, and then it's like the one or two things that you can't let go of. It's like, but just the Clorox for just the tub. And it's like, oh, but like, and I'm just trying to be like, well, it's like twice a month, a big deep clean of the, but what I think about too is the water supply. And,
oh, the water is the next thing that I dove into on my journey. I learned about the quality of our water. And that's a huge passion of mine to share with people, because anyone who's listening, I encourage you to go to the website, www.ewg.org/tapwater, and type in your city's zip code to see the level of contaminants that are within your drinking water. They're supposedly safe, and there's so many contaminants above the legal limit. And when I found that out, I was shocked, and I made the change to switch my water filter, and I have a water ionizer, like a medical grade water device. And so that came after the journey of being a health coach and looking at my products. And so the next thing was looking at my water. And then, through IIN, it was looking at your pots and pans, making that swap. So I didn't do it all at once. It was like one thing led to the next. And you're so right, Linda. It's like we're 60 to 70% water, and water carries such a vibration and a charge. So it is important to look at your water. What are you bathing in?
It's like the next little breadcrumb until you kind of can't take it anymore. It's like the intuition being like, pay attention to this, pay attention to this. And then you're like, finally like, shit, I gotta really look at that one next. But to me, that's the integrity. It's like, if you're into conscious living, like, but you're going to turn the blind eye to whatever, you're not being in integrity. And maybe there's an integrity crisis more than anything. Or it could, it could be more of a conscious crisis. It could be both. It could be infinity beyond either
that
of those.
Word is really big for me, Linda. Integrity, it really is. And like apathy, like apathy is just like really not caring or looking the other way. And being a yoga teacher and understanding the chakras, apathy kind of works on the 6th chakra level, like not wanting to see. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be part of that. Like once I know something, again, that's the 6th, 7th chakra, wisdom, knowing. When you are ignoring that and you're looking the other way, then that's going to be there. And it's going to be, if it's not talked about, it's not worked on, then it's going to have an effect on a physical level. Like just having that in your mind. And I don't want anything to happen to my eyes or my brain or my consciousness. And so for me, like, learning all this stuff, sometimes, you've heard the ignorance is a bliss. Well, I don't think so. Sometimes I might feel like that. Oh man, I wish I didn't know that. But then I'm like, no, I'm grateful that I know that, because I can now make an informed decision, a more conscious decision that's going to be more sustainable for my well-being, that of my family and my community. And so, wisdom and knowing and all that, that's a higher realm. And so, that's what we enjoy doing with our program. And it's sharing what's working for us with these women who are looking for that. And we kind of like, there's so much overwhelm out there, but what we share, of course, is what we've gone through and our experiences. And, those who connect with that and have integrated this concepts, have had a lot of shifts in their lives. And that's what it's about. Little by little, we all can just keep upgrading. I don't think it's something that only happens once, right? Like we don't finish therapy ever, right? It's like an ongoing thing. Like then there's the next level and there's the next upgrade. We're always going to be upgrading.
The one other thing I want to bring up here is, we're in this time where I think a lot of people are looking at their life and their work, and they may be feeling some of the unrest that we've been talking about, and just, it's a chaotic time. If someone's looking to make these changes, but they don't even know where to begin, do you have any practices for where to begin? And then I do have a follow-up question.
So like I mentioned earlier, with our program and the way that we do for us personally, we start the program with mindset. And then within the mindset, we're looking at, what do you want? Why do you want it? What's the big why? Because we don't know what we want, then that's where we're feeling like we don't know where to start, because there's no target. It's like, I have this dart to throw. Where do I throw it? I don't know. There's no target, right? And so we start with that. What do you want? Why do you want it? Okay. And so we get them thinking about that and sharing in a group. What's your belief? Do you believe? Because that to me really comes down to like your belief. Do you believe you can do it? Do you believe you can attain that? Because if deep and down there's a belief that you don't, guess what? Subconsciously, that's what you're going to be bringing to yourself. And so we do an exercise to really question belief and start to recreate a new belief table. Okay. That's going to reprogram the mind, reprogram your brain to believe that this thing that you want is attainable. Okay. So there's exercises that we do through that. So to me, I think it's a questioning your belief, whether you deserve or you can have and create that which you want, the change that you want. So I think we need to start with that. What do they want? So then from there, we start to, all right, let's figure out the next steps for that.
When you
and I think,
yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I was going to say that life is just a bunch of beliefs put together. That's life. We have these beliefs that we got from our parents, from schooling, from life experiences, and putting them together is like creating a fabric or a pattern. And this is life. And it's a bunch of beliefs. And if some of those beliefs, that pattern's kind of like off a little bit, and everything's going to be off. And so kind of going back to belief and deconstructing that. Yeah, going back to the deconstruction process and like, okay, so what are some new beliefs that new software that we can put in so that this computer can upgrade, and then take it from there.
So good. The question I feel is a good follow-up is around when you don't even know like how disconnected that you are. And maybe that person isn't listening to this episode, but maybe they are for some reason. And it's like, I think being able to see how much survival mode has been in place, there's like even loss and grief in that, I think. But it's like, this is my point, is when you're talking about lifestyle, if you've been in chaos for so long, how do you start to believe anything else is possible? Like, we could say, oh, I want this lifestyle and paint the picture, but then it's like, oh, reality is back over here. And these are like 15,000 miles apart. I think that's enough. That feels clear.
You know what? I feel like seeing someone else go through it, what you want, someone who's done it, someone who is where you want to be. And I've always learned that, within my business, follow the people who've been where you want to go and learn from them, rather than feeling like you have to, recreate it and recreate the wheel. Like, you can find someone who you can, go under their wing and be mentored by and be coached by and learn the methods of success. Success leaves clues. And if you find something that is attractive to you and someone else has done it, like, you can bypass time and quantum leap into your goals by learning, the methods and the secret sauce that it took to get there.
And when you mentioned that, like somebody who's been in survival, somebody who's been in that to like, then what showed up for me is, and I go back to the more esoteric and the yoga, taking the chakra system. My yoga training, one of my yoga trainings was heavy on the chakras and the energy body. And so we learn that we heal from the ground up and we manifest from the top down. And so I would start to talk to someone in that who's in survival. It's somebody who might be stuck on the first chakra, which has to do with feeling safe and secure in the world. Okay. If you don't feel safe and secure in the world, you're in constant stress. That's something that's going to keep you in that kind of like very stuck level. Okay. And then, you know, so working on that first, like how can we get the very basis, you know, your food, your, you know, your rent, whatever it is, because that for that person to feel safe and secure, what needs to happen? You know, it's different for all of us, but at the most basic level for us is like, do we have food? Do we have water? Do we have shelter? That's at the very most basic level to start to find, I don't even want to say balance, but a groundedness harmony in that. Yeah. You know, and then you start to shift into the second. And so you start to heal. And then when you want to manifest, you manifest from the ground up. Okay. So you start to work on your chakras and like the emotional, everything that has to go there. And then from that, then you start to create a vision and you start to find right relationships with that. You start to, you know, and then bring it down to earth. So as a yoga teacher, that's how I would, you know, why is this person feeling in survival mode? What are they going through? How can we get that foundation strong so they can step on that and build from a strong foundation?
Awesome. Going into the new year, welcome to 2020 on our air date here.
2022.
Sorry. That's
let's like, not go back there.
2022.
Wow, that was a timeline glitch there. Whoa. 2022. Welcome everyone. But what are you feeling most excited about, most hopeful about, and most energized about? We talked about pre-show creativity, and I would love to hear what that is for each of you.
I'm actually looking forward to creativity and having creative space. And I did reach a lot of goals in 2021. And I recently was able to take some things off my plate, because when you are completely booked, there's no time for creativity and feeling and inspiration and intuition. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'm looking forward to healing. I've been on a healing journey with my physical body, aligning my spine. But I have to admit, the past years, I have not been doing the work on my own, the homework that I know that I can be doing to actually make the change. I work with a lot of healers, but I do know that we are our own best healer. So I'm looking forward to being consistent with my daily healing and having that be the word of the year and the focus, because there's so much that I love to do every day. And then, you know, what's the priority? What's the priority that I need to do? And then in service to others, I am really looking forward to rising up everyone that I work with and seeing them reach their goals, which is going to be a goal of mine. So I really want to see others win. I really want to see others find those dreams that they want, live that freedom lifestyle, that abundance lifestyle, and be able to be financially and location independent if they wish. And that's something that I've been able to achieve. And I know so many are looking for that, especially in these previous years of home-based businesses being on the rise. So I just want to transfer that magic and pass it on and see everybody like rise up. And that's going to help me rise up as well.
Awesome.
And for me, it's very simple, yet one of the hardest things for me, which is consistency. I'm excited for being consistent. You know, when I read the books and I hear the people that are, you know, doing it and, you know, I'd like to be where they are. Everybody says the same thing. It's not that you need to be the smartest. It's not that you need to be the best. You just need to be the most consistent. And I haven't been. It's not my strong suit. So I'm excited to commit to myself and reinvent myself and deconstruct myself in that way where I can be more consistent with my business, to posting more, sharing more, and showing up more in that way. Because I'm one of those that will post once a month on Instagram. Mm-hmm. And I'll do like 3 reels and then I don't do reels for 3 weeks. So that's very inconsistent. So I'm looking forward to being more consistent. I have so much to share and I don't. And I have the time and resources. So I'm really, really excited for that.
Oh, well, we're excited to follow both of you along in the journey. And I know you have Integrate to Upgrade as the Instagram handle, but if you want to do a shout out to anything else that we can direct our listeners to, either your Instagram and also the Integrate to Upgrade website for the community.
Yes.
Yeah, you could follow each of us on our own pages as well, Megan Newmans and Barbara Alfonzo on Instagram. And for the website, we have a network. We have a network where we host women, we host community, and we'll have our mini courses available in the new year. So stay on the lookout for that, where we focus on mindset as a course, relationships, nutrition, green living, and self-care. So that'll be a go at your own pace. But in the meantime, you can hang out with us in our network. You can get to know women who are just like you. You can check into what's been shared there and see what we're up to, and continuing to build community and thrive and grow together. Anything I missed, Barbara, that you want to include?
No, the network, it's you might think like, oh, another social media thing, another network thing. It's curated, it's small, it's only women, and we're sharing the nutrition, the self-care, the green living. It's also a way for you to network and meet other women also who might be near you that you can connect with. And, sometimes when you start to uplevel your life and elevate in this way, sometimes your friends are not coming along the journey with you. And so it's really good to have women who are like, you know what, I'm doing this too. Let's do this together. And we don't have to worry about algorithm. We don't have to worry about ads. We don't have to worry about weirdos, whatever, it's all women who are in it together to elevate and upgrade our lives.
Ooh, and exactly. I'd love to.
Everyone's welcome. Yep. You can go to integrate-to-upgrade.com and then you'll see join the network, and that will get you in. And it's for women only.
And what I really love about this space is we want it to be a collective space where you can network yourself. You can promote your events that you're doing or your services. And what's really cool is you can see who's in the area near you. So we want to know, like, what's your human design? What do you do for work? Do you have anything to offer? Like, do you have anything going on? So we want it to be a space to let other people shine as well, because we very much are, we do feature certain guests, experts, teachers in our community. And this is a sharing space. And for anyone who's interested in working with Barbara or myself, going into business, learning how to become your own wellness coach, we have that as well. So whether you want to upgrade your lives or help other people do that, we got you covered.
So good. Awesome. And, before we wrap, it's been burning on my heart, and this is the perfect moment, but how are you both using human design for personal development in your own life? And if you're seeing some of your clients or members use it, what kind of magic is happening there?
Wow. I've been loving human design over the past year or two, and it's been incredible to know my business partner's design and our love partners. Barbara and I both have projector husbands,
wow.
Which is so interesting because for the past year, I did my husband's chart wrong and I thought he was a manifester. And I've been getting to know him as his manifester side. And I remember one time being like, babe, you got to start tapping into your manifesting powers. And then turns out he's a projector. And so now I'm like going back to ground zero to understand him as a projector. But how it's been helpful in business is to really know like who you are at the core level and understand everyone. We have a projector, we've got reflectors, generators, manifestors, and manifesting generators. So when you can understand the characteristics of each type, like for the projectors, they need to rest more. So when my husband's sleeping in till 8:30 or 9 and I'm getting up at 5 or 6, I don't say, oh my gosh, he's so lazy. And I'm like, no, he needs his rest. I'm going to go do me. But with business, it's been amazing because you can see where each of you thrive and what your strengths are and what your personality type is and your subconscious type is, and really just get to work with that person based on who they are at a core level, rather than, I think it really stops comparison in its tracks. It's like, no, we can't compare. We're a different design type. We're built differently, and we can just have self-acceptance for who we really are rather than beating ourselves up for who we're not, because this manifestor or this generator can go on for hours or whatever it may be.
The judgment and the compassion. It's like letting go of the judgment, accessing more compassion. What a tool. Cool.
And,
Barbara,
and more understanding. I feel the same way. It's been awesome. Megan really kind of got me into it, and we invited somebody to be part of to be like our human design person at Integrate to Upgrade. And from that call, we had one of our students love it so much. So she's going on and just kind of running with it, you know?
Awesome.
So that's really awesome that, you know, people are going to be inspired in whatever ways they're going to be inspired when they come into this network. But for me, yeah, it's like really understanding. Megan and I are so similar in that way as well, because we're both manifesting generators, sacral. I'm still learning about that, but I get her, you know, when she comes to me and tells me, oh, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yes, I feel the same way. I totally understand you. And I'm not like, you know, and my husband being a projector, I'm like, oh my God, now I understand. You needed an invitation from me. That's why you're not doing A, Y, and Z. And so it's like, I got it. It's been really awesome. And it's another tool, right? To get to know yourself. Like before it was the Enneagram. I didn't connect too much with that. But it's still pretty accurate, you know, for me. But the human design is just kind of like, wow, there's so much in it. And understanding also my friendships. And it's just another level of getting to know someone. Just it's the same feeling of like when I learned about the 5 love languages, you know, when we were in school, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Why it didn't work out this one or that one or that one.
Well, the last thing I have is, Megan, you said something really powerful about like being your own healer. And I think that if I could say a closing thought for today, it's like remembering the self-discovery journey is with yourself. And there's all these guides and tools that are so amazing and so helpful, but it's like noticing within yourself where you're outsourcing. And I can relate, Megan, to a comment you had said, but I was like filling my whole entire free time schedule with healing and self-care. And I was bypassing. It was like the stupid stuff I needed to be doing at home daily. I would just completely neglect, but I was showing up for myself and creating tons of other issues from that. And I think, you know, if I could set a collective moment of, you know, for us having that integrity to our own self, and then what becomes possible. That's my New Year's wish.
Yeah, I feel that it's getting to know yourself in such a deep level that you become your best friend. You're your best teacher. You trust yourself, like really deeply trust yourself to the core. You got this, no matter what's going on. You're in love with yourself. That's what we hope for women, as we're, you know, you've heard that saying, like, teach a man to fish and they'll eat for a lifetime, and like, give them a fish, they'll eat that night or something like that, right? Yeah. We want to teach women to fish so they can go out on their own and fish forever, you know, like we're just your guides, you know. And then, but you're then, you know, as you remember all these things, we have it deep inside, right? As you remember all these things, then go on and be your own coach, be your own cheerleader, be your own, I got this, you know. And along the way, we're going to have all kinds of different guides as we keep up-leveling and upgrading and learning new things. Oh, okay, so I can use a guide and help with this. And, you know, the idea is, and I have this quote, which I believe I coined because I came up with it. Now let me see if I can remember it. At the core of every positive changes that we want to cultivate, create in our lives, we must begin with self-love. And the path to self-love is through self-care. And self-care, you know, that's a word that we use a lot, but of course, of the mind, of the heart, the body, in different ways. But it's just caring so much about yourself that you develop this deep love relationship with you in all yous, the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, the energetic, and physical being of you. The respect, the trust, all that we want others to have for us, we got to cultivate that in ourselves first. And that's what we do.
Thank you, Megan and Barbara, so much for being here. Thank you, listeners. If you have a commitment you have for yourself, we would love to hear. So tag us on social and if there's something that really impacted you, please share this episode with any loved ones that you think could benefit. And many blessings to both of you.
Thank you so much, Linda, for having us on your podcast. We love you. Thank you so much for offering this.
Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Lila Life Show. Be sure to share, like, and comment. Tune in next week. And if you're not already a member of the Lila Life Collective, you'll want to be. So take a look in the show notes and be sure you sign up today. Have a beautiful day.